Hey, Wantrans here. I noticed that there is lack of information as far as how to optimally build Valk for arena defense. Because Valk is such a flexible champion, there is a lot of controversy when it comes to building her correctly. This is why I felt I should make a video to highlight the types of builds I have personally used on her and found to be successful in top plat arena and the rationale behind it. Just a disclaimer before I dive into the details though. I cannot promise that the builds I'm about to suggest are perfect and will create drastic change to your arena defense win rate. I've had a lot of experience building Valk in all the forms I am about to discuss and found success in every different way, but it largely depends on what other champions you have to synergize with the build. Finding the synergy is up to you, as there are so many different permutations and arrangements that could constitute a successful defense. Also, a lot of what makes an arena defense successful is the element of surprise, which makes it a tacky subject as far as making videos on specific defense builds, because this essentially exposes the idea and weakens it. This is why I plan to make videos on individual champions, and leave it up to the individual player to customize their team. With all this said, let's jump right in. I'll start by discussing the different roles that Valk brings to an arena defense. Her passive decreases turn meter for each buff placed on the enemy team, so she essentially serves as an additional RNG element, because each turn meter decrease will come with an independent accuracy check. This can mess up the turn order of attackers when they place buffs, and when Madame gets her turn meter decreased but the nuker resists, it can cause the nuker to go before the attacker's stripper. This change in turn order will ruin a strip nuke combo and can lead to a defense victory. The other obvious role is to protect the team with a large shield to prevent death from an attacker's nuke. Valk also serves to stall the attacking team if strips are resisted and the shield is able to prevent death on some units, and the counterattack animation comes in to delay the battle. Lastly, she can be used to nuke, believe it or not, when built properly and purely for damage, as her A2 AoE attack has decent multipliers. I would personally say there are 5 main builds for Valk for top plat arena defenses, and they are as listed. I will go into the detail for every build shortly. However, just a side note, there is no one set of masteries that fits all for all the builds I'm about to discuss, as mastery should be tailored depending on the stats you are able to achieve and the synergy of the entire defense, so I will not directly suggest full sets of masteries here. The idea behind a crowd control Valk is surprising the attacker. You'd purposely want to not include a Torment or Hegemon on your defense to bait the attacker into attacking you without an immunity team. And by building Valk sufficiently quick, she will often cut in before the attacker's Madame or right after her, and by chance land the crowd control on their stripper or nuker. This way, you can give your threat unit a chance to get a turn and potentially force a victory. I recommend at least 265 speed with a speed aura and preferably a booster opener, and also at least 240 accuracy to effectively pass the accuracy checks to decrease the turn meters of attacking Madames and nukers, so you can give your defending Valk a chance to go before or between them. You can choose to push up 100% crit rate and increase crit damage and defense to make her into a hybrid damage build through substats, so that she also does damage as well as crowd controlling if your gear allows. I'd recommend Fearsome Presence as a T6 mastery. Taunting set would be the most ideal in this case, because it's the best stall choice due to increased animations rather than skipping the turns, which the sleeping set and the stun set would do. And also, there's a base rate of 30% to land a provoke, which is much higher than the other sets. The idea behind a Nuke Valk is once again surprising the attacker by killing their stripper and or nuker. Many people attack Valk defenses without any fear of damage threat, and they think that they can just strip the defender's Valk after she goes and follow up with a nuke safely. This build capitalizes on the attacker's underestimation, and by killing their stripper or nuker, you can force a defense victory. You definitely want a unit on your defense to provide defense up as an opener, such as Sifi, so that Valk can dish out more damage. I'd recommend a lower accuracy build at 140 to increase the chances of messing up the attacker's turn order between the Madame and nuker, and also because you'd want to focus all stats on defense, crit rate, and crit damage. You'd want her at least 240 speed so she gets a reliable chance to get a turn also before the enemy stripper and nuker. Finally, you definitely want to grab Helm Smasher as her T6 mastery. Definitely Savage set would be the best in this case, however defense and crit damage sets could also suffice. The idea behind a high resist Valk is mainly a stall option to delay the battles of attackers. When Valk gets successfully stripped by Madame before she can take a turn and has defense down on her, it renders her shield so weak that it is essentially useless. However, by pushing up her resist so that she can reliably resist being stripped, she will maintain a very large shield upon delivery. Also, very often, Valks go right after Madame's due to Madame's passive that places a shield on herself and triggers Valk's passive to further increase Valk's turn meter to cut in. Together, this allows Valk to place a strong shield on your defending team to sustain the nuke that's about to follow up, and can lead to surviving a nuke and stalling out a battle enough that an attacker quits. For this build, you want to get at least 240 speed, and it's recommended to do a low accuracy build, around 140, so that it increases the chances of messing up the attacker's turn order. That aside, just focus on as much defense as possible to maximize the shield's thickness. Unshakable is definitely the T6 mastery you'd want to opt for. The idea behind an immunity Valk is to reliably reduce the attacker's turn meter and to set up a Warlord to use his lockout skill on auto. Warlord will use his lockout A3 automatically if the team has high health and there are at least 2 out of 4 champions on a team with the block debuffs buff on them. Thus, you'd want to build the immunity Valk this time with high accuracy, preferably over 500, to reliably shove the turn meters of attackers by her passive down to give your Warlord an increased chance to get a turn. If you can grant your Warlord a chance to use his A3, most attackers will immediately quit the battle and give your defense a victory. A fair amount of speed, around 240, would be decent, and this speed will give flexibility in case you want to use her for offense purposes also. That aside, the more defense you can add, the more her shield will help your defense in case of a sustained battle. Eagle Eye is definitely the T6 mastery you'd want to choose. Finally, the idea behind a Relentless Valk is purely RNG mania to mess up the attacker's turn order. When Valk does her A2 and gets an extra turn, she will generally attack the target with the next lowest HP, and if HP is all else equal, she will tend to attack the unit with the highest turn meter, and also avoid attacking the opposite affinity. These factors make her, from my experience, almost always attack the enemy Madame with A1 on the extra turn follow-up. This will decrease Madame's turn meter and cause the enemy nuker, which in most cases is Trunda conveniently enough, as she has magic affinity, to go before a strip can happen, and she will face a thick shield across the entire enemy team before the attacker's Madame can remove it. This turn order mess up can grant you a defense win. To further increase the RNG, I suggest to build her with lower accuracy at around 140, so that increases the chances that Madame and the nuker's turn orders are messed. You can choose to push up to 100% crit rate and increase crit damage and defense to make her into a hybrid damage build through substats, so that she also does damage as well as being the RNG element that she is in this build. In this case, you'd want to choose Helm Smasher as your T6 mastery. I hope that this video gave you some fresh ideas in synergizing Valk into your arena defense. I apologize if this was more of a boring video, but I hope you were at least able to find it informative. It's really difficult to visually showcase how specific builds on a defense will work, as Plarium did not give us a way to easily test defenses without expending a ridiculous amount of time and effort. If you have any other champions you'd want me to break down viable builds for them, as far as arena defense is concerned, please comment below and let me know. I appreciate you all, and until next time, WAN Trans out.